After over 3 months, we are back. Hello, hello, hello. It is F1 Spud here, and welcome to episode 11 of Spud Ball. I know, we're back. Unbelievable. We've got a lot to talk about. They won't be every week, the Spud Ball videos, but we are going to bring them back. I do apologise for leaving you for 3 months without saying anything. Obviously, I did have other videos on my YouTube. I posted a lot of Walking Dead, Telltale Walking Dead game clips, because that's like my favourite game series of all time. And I've literally got a poster there of it. But we've missed out on my reaction to the Nunes brace against Newcastle, the Chelsea Man City 4-4, the Spurs 1, Chelsea 4, the Manchester Derby 3-0, the Merseyside Derby, Aston Villa winning 6-1. There's been so much that we've missed out on. And the first video we're going to do, thanks again Tom for the thumbnail, is the team of the season so far in the Premier League. Now, most of the players are actually straightforward, I think. What I'll do is I've just got the team on the next page. And we'll just go through player by player, and obviously the manager as well. The manager was really tough choice. So this is my team. Now I've built this on the app lineup, which you can get on the App Store. I believe now it costs £4. I paid 99p at the time, and it is definitely worth it. And there's no ad, by the way, no advertisement from themselves there. So we're going to start with goalkeeper, go through the defence, the midfield, the attack, and the manager, and then I'll go for who my player of the season actually has been so far. So first of all, we're going to go goalkeeper. Now, it was obviously between Alisson, who for me is the best goalkeeper in the world, or Vicario. Now, the reason that I've gone for Vicario is just because nobody was expecting Vicario to be this good, whereas everyone knew how good Alisson was already. So I've gone for Vicario. Now, they signed Vicario for about £16 million from Empoli in the summer and opted against David Raya because of his price. Now, David Raya is now playing for their rivals, Arsenal. But Vicario has impressed me a lot, and he was very, very good against Chelsea, where they lost 4-1. He's very good shot stopper. He seems to be quite good with his feet. The first game he played against Brentford, I was a bit concerned about. He looked really nervous. He didn't look like a Premier League keeper. But he's turned it around fantastically, and obviously massive credit to Postecoglou for doing that as well. And he now plays for the Italian national team. I think he is the backup to Gigi Donnarumma, but still really good. Moving on, we're going to go to the left back, which is Destiny Doggy. Now, the left back position was, again, quite a tough one to choose. But I've gone for a Doggy because, obviously, Andy Robertson's injured long-term. Estepinian is injured long-term. A Doggy has had a game suspension because he did get a sending off. He should have been sent off against Liverpool as well. Yep, I didn't mention the Liverpool-Spurs game as well. But that was months ago, so we're not going to go into that. But he should have been sent off. We know that. So yeah, I think actually this season the left backs have not been great in the Premier League. Luke Shaw's injured, Ben Chilwell's injured, Rico Henry's injured. So I've gone for a Doggy because again he's impressed me a lot. They signed him last year from Udinese, but loaned him back to Udinese. He plays as an inverted fullback. He almost plays as a midfielder under Postecoglou, but I've been really impressed by him so far. And you can see when he doesn't play that they're not as good. You saw Emerson Royale play against Wolves, wasn't as good. And the fact that their second goal came from a pass from Sarabia, Wolves' second goal, sorry, came from a pass from Sarabia on that left-hand side. Would that have been stopped if a Doggy was there? Potentially. You don't know. But I've gone for a Doggy. Now, the left centre-back was a tough one. It doesn't actually matter which position the centre-backs are in because obviously Van Dijk is the left centre-back for Liverpool and Saliba's the right centre-back for Arsenal. But I'm just going to go through it in order. So Saliba's next in centre-half. I'll be honest with you. I think Saliba's really good, but I think he is quite overrated by Arsenal fans. I only put him in here because of Romero getting that red card when they lost 4-1 against Chelsea. Otherwise, Romero would have been in there. I was tempted by Van de Ven as well. But I've gone for Saliba because I think you can see with Arsenal when Saliba's out of the team, they're a lot worse. When he got injured last season, they were a lot worse. But for some reason, Didier Deschamps doesn't trust him enough to start him for France. Normally, it's Upamecano and Konate, but obviously we know Konate does have a few injuries every season. Just small ones normally, though. But because of that, it's normally Upamecano and Lucas Hernandez, or Upamecano and Jules Koundé, or Upamecano and, like last night, Jean-Claire Todibo. But I think Saliba has been the second best centre-half in the Premier League, but the person next to him has been the best centre-back in the league, and probably in the world this season, Virgil van Dijk. He looks absolutely phenomenal. His tackle last night against the Republic of Ireland to stop, I think it was Cullen, from having a free shot on goal at Verbruggen, world class. Bar the red card against Newcastle, he has been absolutely incredible for Liverpool. His aerial success is next to none. It's unbelievable. I've probably said next to wrong in the wrong context, but it's just fantastic. Doesn't make mistakes. Hasn't been dribbled past. Doesn't lose the ball. His distribution's good. He's also had 2 assists this season. He'll never be as good as he was in 2018-19. That's understandable. But the thing is, people forget that he was really good in 2016, 2017, 2018. There's a reason why Southampton got £75 million for him, because the partnership of him and Alderweireld were unbelievable. People talk about longevity at Van Dijk being at the world's best, but he was one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League, if not the best centre-back in the Premier League when he was playing at Southampton, and that's why Liverpool bought him. And he was really good in 21-22. Last season was the first season he'd played a full season in like 6-7 years where he wasn't up to the standard. But he still had good games, like when Liverpool beat Manchester City 1-0 at the at Anfield. But this season he's been absolutely superb and thoroughly deserves the spot there in the centre-back position. Moving on to right-back, I've gone for Kieran Trippier. There's not really many right-backs. Again, there's more right-backs than left-backs that I could have put in. You know, Ben White, Pedro Porro, Alexander-Arnold's had a okay season, but not enough to be there. Trippier's had a really poor last couple of games, though. And he's not been as good as he has been in previous seasons, but he is still leading the Premier League with assists, I believe. Or joint with Pedro Neto, I'm not 100% sure on that. I am just going to go for Trippier, though, because his chance creation's really good as well at right back. So yeah, I think it's just a bit of a couple of bad games for Newcastle. I wouldn't even be worried. I mean, they literally beat Arsenal. But you can see that Newcastle are struggling with injuries because they're playing 3 games a week. Their players, bar Trippier, and I'm not sure if Guimaraes has played in the Champions League before this. They're not used to playing all these games. And it's obviously causing them an effect. It's affecting them now. Now we move on to the midfield. I'm going to start actually from the right-hand side here. I've gone for James Maddison. What a signing he's been for Spurs. The reason I've put him in there is, you know, his chance creation's really good. Spurs play really well with him there. His partnership with Heung-min Son is pretty good. You know, he got 2 assists on his debut against Brentford. We know how good he was at Leicester. His goals and assists at Leicester were superb, especially for a team that got relegated the last season. So people knew how good James Maddison was, but he was only about £45 million, and it's like they had a free run for him. Unbelievable. Signing of the season, so far I would say, it's hard to say after 12 games, but I'd say currently yes. But the guy next to him, very, very close in second place, I'd say. Declan Rice. I've been so impressed by Declan Rice. Yes, he had that high money. He was a high valued player. £105 million, that's right. From West Ham, sorry. But he's been really, really good for Arsenal. He can play as a 6, he can play as an 8. I actually think his best position at Arsenal is an 8, because his ability to drive with the ball is absolutely unbelievable. And he did it for England on Friday night against Malta, but unfortunately it was ruled out because Harry Kane was blocking the vision of the goalkeeper. But it was a really good goal from Declan Rice. And yeah, I've been really impressed. I knew that he'd be good, because, I mean, you pay a lot of money for these players, but compared to, like, Caicedo, for example, who I don't think has really shown much at Chelsea yet, been quite disappointed by his ability. I mean, I'm not complaining, but Yeah, I would say Rice goes there. Now, the other midfield spot was quite difficult because obviously, you know, me being biased, I'd love to put Dominic Szoboszlai in there. You know, I could have even put someone like James Ward-Prowse in there, but I've gone for Bernardo Silva because I think Bernardo Silva is such a vital player for Manchester City, especially now that Gundogan's gone. I just think Bernardo Silva is... I don't like the guy, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't know why I've just said that, but I don't. But on a footballing level... Oh, the only reason I don't like him is because he put some, like, stupid tweet out about Liverpool fans once. But, yeah, on a footballing basis, Bernardo Silva is world class. I would say world class. You don't want to say that term too much, but I think he is world class. And he's shown it this season. I think he's been really good again. He seems to always have a really good game. I think his best position is as a midfielder, a narrow midfielder, rather than on the right hand side, which is where he plays normally. That otherwise I wouldn't have been able to put him in the midfield spot. Moving on to the front three, I know Son has played striker for all of the games, bar like 2. I think the first couple of games he put Richarlison up front, Postecoglou, but I put Son there. Again, just like Van Dijk, he just didn't have a great season last time around, Son, but he is still a lethal finisher. And definitely a player that you don't want to play against. He can score anything, Son. He's absolutely brilliant. Now, will they struggle? Will they struggle without players like Maddison, Romero, Van de Ven? Yes, I think Son will struggle for the next 5-6 games. He'll score goals, yes, but he won't get as many chances as he's been getting because losing Maddison is such a big blow. And obviously because of that, if I did a team of the season in the next month, Maddison probably won't be in there because of the fact that he's injured. Huge blow. To be honest with you, I was always going to put Maddison in, but I forgot that he was actually out till January. But yeah. And then obviously Erling Haaland. For his standards, I don't think he's had the best of seasons. Yes, he's got 14 goals in 12 Premier League games and 3 assists, I think. But still, you know, against Chelsea, very clinical. Against Man United, he was brilliant. But then, like, against teams like Bournemouth, you expect him to do much, to do something. Yeah, he came off injured in 45 minutes. But he's not been... He's been one of the best players in the world still. He always will be. It's Erling Haaland. But I think compared to last season, because last season no one was expecting him to be as good as he was in the Premier League. People are kind of expecting the same standards, if not even a bit higher, so that it's just a tad bit lower. People are not seeing how good he is. Now, obviously, as well, Haaland can be potentially restricted to as many opportunities because of Jeremy Doku, because he's a completely different winger to Jack Grealish. But even then, Haaland has to be in there. Best striker in the league. One of the best strikers in the world. And then moving on, Mo Salah. What a season he's had. If Liverpool got 200 million for him, they wouldn't have been able to reinvest it in the right players. My favourite ever player. Honestly, I absolutely love Mo Salah. He's just absolutely top notch. 10 goals, 4 assists, I think, this season in 12 games. Got a brace in the derby, got a brace against Brighton, got a brace against Brentford. Player of the month for October. It's just Mo Salah. It's just what he does. His partnership with Darwin Núñez as well is really, really good. And that's my team of the season. We also have the manager. If Spurs hadn't lost to Wolves, I would have went for Postecoglou. So maybe I'm being harsh, but I've gone for Emery just because, yeah, people didn't expect Spurs to have a good season. But Aston Villa are 3 points off the top after 12 games. They've only lost away. They've won every game at home. The only games they've lost was away at Newcastle, away at Liverpool, and away at Nottingham Forest. I think they've been really impressive, and I think they're going to be the team outside the Big Six that challenge for a Champions League spot this season. And the fact that there's 5 teams that could potentially be in the Champions League next season because of the new UEFA coefficient, I think Villa have a really good chance. Moving on to the honourable mentions before we end. So for the honourable mentions, I've gone for Alisson because, like I mentioned, he's brilliant. I went for Ben White, Pedro Neto because Pedro Neto has been absolutely superb. Jared Bowen, again, really, really good. Ollie Watkins, James Ward-Prowse. You know, Ollie Watkins has been brilliant. James Ward-Prowse, brilliant. You know, a few others I could have mentioned, like obviously Szobo. You know, I've been obviously really impressed by him, but I think that's just expected. I mean, Bukayo Saka, you know, people forget about him. Yeah, he's not getting the numbers of players like Salah, but he shouldn't be getting compared to players like Salah. You've got to remember that Bukayo Saka is only 22 years old, I think. Other players I could have mentioned, Sergio Romero. Not Sergio, fucking Christian Romero, sorry. Mickey van der Ven. Yves Bissouma. Even players like really outside of the box, like Conor Gallagher. I can't believe Conor Gallagher this season. I thought he was absolutely crap under Lampard, under Potter, under Tuchel. Even though he was only with Tuchel for a little bit, I think. But under Pochettino, he's really good. Only issue is, I think his best position is the 10. In front of Fernandes and Caicedo, but behind Jackson. When Nkunku's fully fit, which is going to be in the next few weeks, I think, I'm really interested to see where they're going to play him. Because I have no idea myself. Anyway, thanks very much for watching my team of the season so far. Let me know if let me know in the comments below if you agree with any of them. Will there be a Spud ball next week? I don't know. I'll say this. I think we'll just do them when I want to, personally. Alright, thanks everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching the video. See you later.